He's the gentle.
Oh no, it's not chapter 3. It's very simple. It's chapter 4.
Shut up finally, and let's get to the damn chapter.
Chapter 4. Why you do this? You're really good at these, CapsLock said, closing his eyes once more. A lot better than my mom. Uh, did she really just SSD? Oh my god, I hope not. Back to the story, I guess. Diamond Tiara giggled at the compliment. Oh no, come on. Oh god. Well, I've had some experience with my father. Yeah, that happened. Oh god. The images. Let's get back to the story though. Yeah, you look like a filly that loves to S the D. This one time I tried to S my own D, but it was way too long and Why do you keep aggravating it? She asked in annoyance, running her hooves across his curly dark hairs as she spoke. Enough talking, just S faster, CapsLock said, arching his neck back. The filly nodded and confronted her face in determination. CapsLock began watching as Diamond Tiara worked, and he shook in anticipation. Almost, oh yeah, perfect! CapsLock held the mirror up, admiring his new mane style. There's no fucking comment for this. What the fuck am I reading right now? Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Back to the story. His black mane had been piled high, similar to several famous musicians from the decades past. He bobbed his head up and down to make sure it would stay up. Now that I've styled your dough, will you help? Diamond Tiara asked patiently. She stood up and waited while CapsLock pondered the question, running a comb through his thick mane. After a moment he turned and shouted, "Lol no, GTFO. But you said if I styled your mane—" "As the my D," CapsLock corrected her, grinning broadly. You said if I as your D, you'd help bully those blank flanks." "I'm not the bully. I'm a troll. And the good troll does not pick his targets. He lets them come to him," CapsLock replied. "Kinda like you came to me." "You mad?" Diamond Tiara shook in anger, got right up to CapsLock's face. "No, I'm not mad." "You mad?" CapsLock shouted in disagreement. He then ran from the alley before Diamond Tiara could do anything to stop him. Silver Spoon, who had been waiting patiently, watched as CapsLock made his escape on his scooter. Diamond Tiara stormed out of the alley and approached her friend. "Did you SSD?" Silver asked. "Stop calling it that," Diamond snapped. "But yes, I styled his dough and he isn't even going to help us." The filly paced angrily in a small circle until an idea came to her. "Why don't we play a trick on him? It'll show him who's boss around here. We can deal with the Crusaders another time." Silver Spoon nodded in agreement, and the two fillies laughed together. Once they were done laughing, Silver Spoon asked, "So, S his D stood for style his dough? I was worried it was something like a BG." "At least that would have taken less time," Diamond Tiara grumbled. Yeah, this author. I have no words, except maybe reading onwards with the story. The wind blew through CapsLock's new dough as he rode his scooter through Ponyville. The citizens gave him odd looks as he passed by, singing his favorite song. Battle Stallion 3 was calling his name, but the day was still young, and he felt devious urges from within he had to satisfy. Perhaps he would go troll the blank flanks from school. The scrubs would be easy pickings, and he could probably stretch it out for days, maybe even weeks, before it got boring. He'd have to start off light, some name-calling, mocking, and other common forms on antagonizing, but that would require him to get in the right mindset. Perhaps some pictures of cats would help. Sweetie Belle sniffed as Rarity attempted to fix the damage done to the filly's mane. Apple Bloom and Skuluk were sitting on the floor, trying to explain their new classmate's behavior. Then he said his parents were dead. Why would any pony lie about that? Apple Bloom asked the elder unicorn. Before Rarity could respond, Skulu interrupted by mumbling something about 2 mares and a cup. The filly then lay there, gurgling quietly. After a moment, Rarity said, "He sounds like he's crying out for attention. Maybe he just needs some friends." "He was even mean to the ones who liked him," Sweetie Belle said, watching hairs fall as the levitating scissors made corrections. "The only thing he did was tell every pony how to cure a tummy ache." How's that?" Rarity asked, more focused on fixing Sweetie Belle's mane than Sweetie herself. "Bleach," Apple Bloom replied. The scissors snapped closely over a large portion of Sweetie Belle's mane as Rarity looked up in horror. The hair fell down onto the floor, and Sweetie Belle's eyes welled up with tears. Rarity's eyes darted to Skulu, and she got up towards the sick Pegasus filly. "Tell me you didn't!" Skulu tried not to throw up as Rarity shook her violently, demanding an answer. "Didn't what?" she asked, closing her eyes tightly. "Tell me you didn't drink bleach!" Rarity screamed and shook nervously. I didn't! The filly shouted. Rarity, still stricken with panic, looked around the boutique frantically. Her eyes fell on the rotary dial phone, as she rarely used, and she sprinted to it. Just as she reached it, it began ringing. "Hello?" Rarity asked into the transmitter. "Rarity!" a frantic voice shouted through the receiver. "Is Sweetie Belle home yet?" "Yes, she is," Rarity replied, looking to her sister and biting her lower lip. "Please be quick. I have urgent—" "Rarity, listen. Don't let her get near to any bleach. My son Snails came home and told me his classmates said it would help upset stomach." Rarity said slowly, finishing the mare on the other sentence. "Yes, all the parents in town caught their kids going under the sink after coming home. I just hope I got hold of you before—" The mare trailed off and waited for Rarity to say something. "Sweetie's fine, and so are Apple Bloom and Skulu," Rarity said. Relief had washed over her after knowing no harm had come to any of the fillies or colts. "Oh, thanks, Celestia," Snail's mom replied. "We need to tell the children not to believe everything they hear. This could have been a real tragedy." At that moment, CapsLock happened to wander by the window of Rarity's boutique. "Look, there he is!" Apple Bloom shouted, pointing to the window. Rarity turned in time to see the colt's ridiculous mane bob past and out of sight. She hung up the phone and went to look out of the door. Sweetie Belle threw off her smock and joined the other 2 fillies behind her sister. "Come on, do something!" CapsLock shouted, holding the camera up his eye. Opalescence, never amused by anything, simply licked her paw and scowled at the young colt that had interrupted her nap. Caps snapped a couple of photos and then looked at them in disgust, shouting, "This isn't gonna make the home page!" "What is he doing to my poor Opal?" Rarity asked. She kept the fillies behind her while they stood in the doorway watching the strange colt. Opal finished licking her paw and gave CapsLock her full, aggravated attention. He snapped another picture and looked at it, a smile forming on his face. "Yes, this is perfect. I'm going to call you Grumpy Cat." No words. There are seriously no words for this. "Excuse me, princess." No, that was Link, sorry.
Well, excuse me, princess.
Excuse me, Rarity shouted, approaching the colt. Abandon threat, CapsLock shouted. He went to jump on his scooter, but then he saw the 3 fillies standing behind the unicorn. The colt screeched to a halt and turned to face Rarity. One mare, 3 fillies. Me gusta. Rarity ignored CapsLock's strange behavior and approached him. Are you the awful little coat that told your classmates to drink bleach? I am OP, yes, CapsLock replied, running his hoof through his manes. Why would you ever do that? Rarity asked angrily. YOLO, CapsLock shouted in reply. He then laughed stupidly at himself and began his advance. I'm just giving the stupid ones the abortions their parents should have given them. That's terrible, Rarity shouted. She was completely appalled by CapsLock, but she was falling right into his trap. Forget the fillies, CapsLock thought to himself, a large grin on his face. This diddle-headed foal factory is begging to be trolled. And here's another author's note. It reads, like I said, no clop, and the bleach thing got revolved. And now the trolling begins. Oh my god, it's only chapter 4 of 13. May God be with us in this unholy piece of written literature.
Or may we at least find the strength in the darkness to fight the darkness that is within the story.
What have I unleashed?